You're about to meet Rodrigo, a builder who went from let's just try this to scaling an eSIM business with serious momentum. We unpack the behind the scenes of automation versus white glove customer experience, how they grew fast, and what actually makes ads convert. Your business started as a result of you trying to solve your own problem.
I wouldn't say that. I am a customer of my business. I have used it and I know, but I didn't start it to solve my problem. I started because I saw an opportunity and we went for it. But I certainly related to the problem,
Mm-hmm. So how did you find the opportunity? How did you identify that there was a need for your service?
I was working at a place, and I was actually working with a project that had something to do with eSIMs. So that was the first time that I I knew about eSIMs, but that was the first time that I really delved into the product, the eSIM, how people install it, how you can buy it from providers, stuff like that. And then I basically quit that. That was when I was in my 7th semester. So it was a part-time job, and then I quit. And then I quit just before summer, and I started talking with some friends, and I was telling them about this eSIM stuff and how you can sell internet packages with just a QR code, and everything is online and everything is automated. And we were like, why don't we launch it? At the same time, I was talking with family members who were going to abroad, and I was asking how are you gonna stay connected during your trip? And they were telling me that either they were gonna buy a physical chip, or they were gonna talk to this guy that also sold these SIMs, but he sold them really, really expensive. And it wasn't automated, he just bought them from a provider or whatever and sold it to them. And I was like, well, I can sell you guys some eSIMs if you want. I know these providers. And I launched a Shopify store with just for my family, literally just for my family. And they used it, they bought it, they was like, oh, thank you. Then people started recommending a little bit. And that was when we were really excited, about actually building this into a business and actually doing this fully committed into doing that. So we realized that most people that travel to another country didn't know what was an eSIM. So it was well, the market is really green. There's a bunch of competition. There's a lot of competition, but at the same time the market is really green. So there's an opportunity to do something. We weren't planning to do a startup and do a company like that. We were just let's make some money,
Yeah. Fell into it a little bit, right? Yeah. So when you did start, what was the fundamental issue with the competitors that existed? You mentioned they were expensive.
The ones that were expensive weren't the competition. They were just individuals that sold the SIMs. But what we realized from the actual the big competition, the international competition Erlo or Holofly, was that most of the people that were going to buy an eSIM were people that didn't know how to install the eSIM. They were gonna have issues, and we realized that if we provided some customer service and some customer onboarding, if you want to call it that, to these people that would normally not buy this type of digital product, older people that have more time and money to travel, then we could sell it to them, and they would recommend us, because they would tell their friends, oh, don't worry about the installation or the activity, these guys will actually help you. Whereas the competition would have an automated bot and then bad customer service, and if for example we refund the packages that people don't end up using because of compatibility issues or stuff like that, and they wouldn't. So we created a very customer first approach, and people started recommending us, and that was like the thing that we had that the competition didn't have.
So it was efficiency for the customer that you were solving, like this like complexity that existed previously. Then you were like, why is it so complex? We can automate this. We can make it simpler for our users.
No, not like the automation part. No, I mean like like if let's say my mother, who's like in her 50s, wanted to install an eSIM, like maybe she would have trouble. And like there's a lot of issues where people have trouble installing and activating. Like there's some stuff like it's really easy if you know how. Like it's really simple, but older people are not that tech savvy. So it was more of having like a customer support that would actually tell you like, no, go to the setting, turn this on, now it's gonna work, and like actually helping them. Because a lot of people thought like, I'm not gonna buy it because I'm not gonna be able to use it and I'm just gonna lose my money and they're not gonna help me with the issues that I have.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So you built it to solve a problem that your family and immediate friends and that sort of thing had, obviously. What was there like a defining moment where you're like, wait, this could be a business?
Yeah, I remember very early on, like I was with one of my co-founders in my house. It was when we first launched and like some family members like bought it from us. But I remember the first time we started actually getting orders from people that we didn't know. And I remember we were just sitting in my house and suddenly an order came and like everything in process, we got the order, we fulfilled the order, like everything was automated. The customer installed it, started using it, and we were like, it's this easy, like we're getting money this easy, And that was the first time when we realized like, oh, like maybe like it's not easy, like building a business and doing stuff, but like the process of a customer going to our website, purchasing the eSIM, us fulfilling the order with like the providers that we have, and then we just get to keep the money. That was like a really like fun moment. But then when we actually like started growing, was when we went with travel agencies. And we realized that the travel agency had all the customers and they sometimes recommended like Erlo or the competition, but they didn't receive anything in return. So we created an affiliate program for these travel agencies and we went to a couple of really big ones and they somehow told us yes. And then a lot of customers started like coming to a store buying, and that was when we had like, I wouldn't say recurring, because technically it's not recurring, but like customers came without us having to promote and like that. And that was like, okay, we can actually scale this.
Yeah, fascinating. I mean, it's one of those, a prime case of you build something awesome that works and people are excited about, and obviously the clientele will come, right?
Yeah.
It's really fascinating to me because I know that you're really big on automation and like the back end is really kind of, probably, correct me if I'm wrong, but hands off for you guys. Like it's all, the process is relatively automated, but then you're also balancing your competitive advantage, which is that your customer service is so good, right? And traditionally speaking, customer service is very hands-on and automation is quite the opposite. So how do you balance those two things when you're building and expanding your product?
Yeah, at the beginning, like us founders handled every customer interaction, obviously. So for me, it was really frustrating because I hate like doing customer service. Like I was really frustrated. And so it was like, well, everything is automated, but then we have to actually handle all the customer service. And at the beginning, I was excited to handle the customer service because it meant that people were like buying stuff from us. But then when we actually started selling a lot more, then it was like, okay, we need to like we need to handle it. So we were like, okay, we need to delegate this, but it was going to be an issue. So we created this platform where everything that you needed to handle the customer service, you could do it from this platform, like really easy, really. And then we hired some people. So that was then delegated. But like, I mean, we're still very hands-on with that. Like it's not like, well, you handle it and you tell us how it goes. I mean, we're really involved in that. And like what I would say about the automation is that I think one of the things that has helped us grow a lot is because everything is automated. then all the time that we founders spend working is not to run the business, it's to grow the business. And yeah, so we want everything to be really automated, not because like we're lazy and we don't want to do it, but because when you don't automate things, then you have to do them a lot and you can't put your effort and time to actually growing and launching new things and being creative and doing like things that maybe some businesses don't have time to do because they have to actually run the business, you know?
Yeah. It's this classic dichotomy of working in the business versus on the business, right? And it sounds like you've set it up so that you can work on the business and think about the future and the bigger picture and let the automation and customer service kind of do its own thing, right? Yeah.
Very early on, like we realized that this was a good business to do that. So that's why we chose it.
Regarding, because there's two kind of separate streams that I want to go down here, but first of all, customer service. Obviously, as you've identified, that's kind of your competitive advantage over people that you just didn't care about the customer previously. Do you operate with the customer is always right mindset?
I don't know. Like, I haven't really thought about it that way. Like, what I would say is when you're handling the customer service, like sometimes people are very rude and they're wrong in the sense that, like, for example, they accuse us of fraud because their device isn't compatible when we have a checkbox at every purchase where you have to say, I have checked my phone to check that it's compatible and I have agreed. And like you get frustrated because that's definitely the customer's fault. Like that's not, but you can't have the mentality of like, oh, well, he's wrong, so I'm not gonna help him or whatever. Like you have to make sure that the customer feels happy, like when they purchase you, after they purchase you, and that's the most important thing. Like if your cost, like I think some people, they get the money and then it's like, well, I got the money, like I completed the purchase. But if you want to grow, especially in like our industry, like recommendations are everything. So you have to make sure that the customer, even when they're wrong, they feel like that you're being friendly to them and they feel like, oh, well, I was wrong, but he, like the company or whatever, like didn't treated me like an idiot, didn't like told me, no, you checked the checkbox, so now it's your loss, like we refunded, even if they checked it and it wasn't compatible, you know, because like I don't want people bad mouthing us.
Of course, your reputation is everything, right? Yeah, like you said, word of mouth is the key driver. I'm curious about when you know, let's say a customer purchases from you. Do you have a sunken cost immediately when somebody purchases from you? So when you refund, you're actually out money?
I mean, it depends, like a little bit, but not that much, because if the customer doesn't like use the internet, then we don't pay for it.
I see. Okay.
But there are some things that like are like we take, like every time we do a refund, we do take a loss, but it's not a big loss, so it's not an issue.
Okay. And speaking to the automation piece, obviously you explained that you were frustrated when you had to deal with customer service because that's maybe not your strength or what you want to do personally, right? So was building the automation piece important to you from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I think there's some people say like do things that don't scale, like the YC statement. I'm like, no, I want to automate everything. So yeah, from the beginning it was automated, and now like we have a lot of other processes and a lot of other stuff, and not everything is automated because sometimes you have an opportunity cost that maybe it's not worth it. But we want everything out of like, because like for moving forward, I think one of the strengths of our company compared to the competition is gonna be our like cost to run the business. And when you start automating everything from the start and every step you take, everything is automated, then you can have a small team. You can really decide on what to grow. But if you start having manual processes and later, then suddenly you're gonna grow where you're gonna have a lot of tech debt that you have to then go back, and sometimes you don't. So yeah, I want to make sure that everything is automated as much as possible.
You experienced explosive growth is what I would call it, right? Like you said, 10,000 customers almost overnight kind of thing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that was digital marketing. I was just talking to my co-founders like a couple of hours ago, where like basically we launched about August of 2023. And by September, we had a couple of travel agencies like recommending us. So we had some stable like growth, and we started working on the website, on the marketing, on the social media, on the brand, on everything. And then by March 2024, we launched our digital marketing, and we filmed a couple of videos. We worked with some UGC creators to make some ads, and we launched them, and we had a lot of growth, but we didn't know if it was because of the marketing or if it was more because of the seasonality, because in March is like Mexican spring break, so we had a lot of new customers. But then on June, then was when we really kicked up, like bumped up the marketing a lot, and we had some growth that was like, at that moment we didn't know it was absurd, but now it's like that was ridiculous. Like there was no way that we should have acquired that many customers in that time, but we're really happy that it happened.
Yeah, of course. And at that speed, at that pace, like were things breaking,
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk me through some of that and how you handle those things, because when you're experiencing growth at that rate, it's like you can only handle so many things at a time, right?
Yeah, well, first we were very busy with the customer service, and so that was frustrating to me, because like when I say I don't like I mean me, like my co-founders are fine like doing that, but I don't know why I get very frustrated. Like I think it's just the way I am. But there were some moments and some nights where stuff wasn't working, and we had to stay like really late, just handling everything, and yeah, there were some moments that were frustrating. But like I wouldn't say it was like everything breaking. It was just like a couple of moments and some stuff that had to be done. But luckily, I mean, two of the co-founders and team are technical, so we handled everything fine.
It sounds like that explosive growth was due to, obviously, as you mentioned, digital marketing played a big role, and obviously these partnerships with travel agencies as well. Did you know? Was that always the plan? Did you know the importance of digital marketing before you started, and how?
Yeah, it's funny because I talked to a couple of friends that were doing e-commerce, and they were investing in digital marketing and getting good returns. So I always thought like if the products that they're selling are converting, like definitely we can convert. So we worked a lot on the website, the social media and like the digital marketing ads are very intertwined, because if you run, I think if you have a really good ad, but then people click on your page and it's really bad, then it's gonna look sketchy. So we knew that we wanted like a really good social media, really good marketing, like that, good videos, good ads, good design. Like design was really a thing that we were focused on. And then the website was like the most important thing, because if you want to convert in digital marketing, you have like people have to pass through your website. So, and in this case, it's like I wouldn't say a complicated product, but like people have to, like a lot of people don't know what an eSIM. So if you tell them, oh, you can buy internet packages without having a physical chip, and they get to your website and then they don't understand what's going on, they're not gonna buy. So we knew that like those three things were really important. And then when we launched the digital marketing, it worked really. Like we had a very low customer acquisition cost, and we knew that we had done some good things. But yeah, that was like the plan all along.
I was going to say, like, I mean, the first thing that we did when we were doing research is obviously go on your website and learn as much as possible. And your website's stunning. So I'm not surprised that it converts. Yeah, it's incredible. I'm curious about what you learned throughout that testing stage of your digital strategy, right? Because you can pump dollars into photos or videos or UGC or all these different avenues that you can take to drive traffic. Were there any critical lessons that you learned along the way? Maybe things that didn't work that you expected to work?
Yeah, like I at the beginning, like we launched like some campaigns, and they worked really well. But then suddenly they stopped working, and that was when we realized it wasn't that easy. And me specifically, I handle most of the digital marketing, and I had to really learn I would say because we wanted to handle everything in house. I had to learn a lot of digital marketing and went really deep into like e-commerce and these strategies and how to organize the campaigns and the campaign structure, and then the creatives and how to test the creatives and how to know which ads work, which don't, how to scale the campaign. Like a lot of things that at the beginning we did right, but that was a little bit of luck. And then when that luck started to run out, we had to actually learn like how to run these campaigns effectively and efficiently. So yeah, it was like a lot of learning, talking to a lot of people, a lot of YouTube videos. Like the information is out there. You have to search for it, and then one thing that we had then you have to put into practice, and that's hard because you have to actually put money, and because we had the campaign working, then we can spend some money to figure things out, and like it didn't matter that we definitely weren't very efficient in our campaigns in some time frame, but that allowed us to learn and to know what works, like where we should put the money, where we're just wasting money, and to really learn like everything.
What were some of those tactical learnings that you learned throughout that process? You know, was it like video structure? Was it like certain type of imagery?
Yeah, mostly, and I would say like specifically for Meta, and specifically right now, the campaign structure is not that important. What's the most important thing is the creative. So a lot of learning was like basically figuring out like why some ads worked and why some ads didn't work, and try to see what was the common denominator in the things that worked and what was in the things that didn't, and then try to replicate it. So that was a lot of the learning process, like knowing like, okay, we have to make ads this way. These are the points that we have to touch in order to connect with the customer. Like this is the call to action, and then we started making some ads that converted at a higher rate.
Do you think that that other startups, whether it be in Monterrey or Mexico in general, value this kind of structure the same way you did, and are creating like creative at the same rate and testing it at the same rate? Or do you think that's partially attributed to why you've been so successful?
Well, I think like most startups are not D2C, like they are not direct to customer. So like most startups are not even thinking about digital marketing. I think the ones that are direct to consumers, they are, or they should be, because I think a lot of people are really like trying to figure out network effects and how the product can sell itself. But you have to push some visibility into like some inorganic visibility. Like if you can figure out an organic way to grow and to like grow a lot, then like I applaud you, like incredible. But chances are it's not gonna be that easy. So you're gonna have to find a way to drive like visibility, and visibility that actually converts, not just visibility for the sake of visibility. So I would say yes, like or at least they should be. Like if they're not doing it, then they're missing an opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. I want to go back a little bit because we focused on the business, but I'm curious about you. You know, like, did you know when you were growing up, did you have entrepreneurial tendencies? Were you always kind of a problem solver? Did you know that you were going to start a business as a result of a project, or did you kind of just fall into it? How did this come to be?
Like, I wouldn't say I was, like, I think some people are, yeah, I was an entrepreneur. I had this lemonade stand. Like, I wouldn't say that. I did some entrepreneurial stuff, but it wasn't like, it was just for fun. But I think I always knew I was gonna do my own thing. But I didn't think it was gonna be this fast, you know, like I thought I was gonna have to first have a couple of jobs and learn some experience. But then I realized that like nobody knows what they're doing and I should just go for it right now because like I had a conviction that I could and like conviction in that we could, like with the whole team. But yeah, I think I always knew I was gonna like be an entrepreneur, but I didn't think it was gonna be this fast.
What kind of mindset do you think is required to be an entrepreneur? Because we're constantly solving problems. We're constantly running into roadblocks and issues that we have to overcome. I mean, even if a product is doing well, you know that it's only a matter of time before the disruptor comes. Walk me through your mindset as you continue to build and from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that like you have to have some risk tolerance. Like I think if you work at a normal job, like every 15 days, you know, you're gonna get your money. And it's tough for it to not be for it to not be a given, you know. Like most entrepreneurs are like having their paychecks be like sometimes there's money and sometimes it's not, so you have to have like some risk. If you're not gonna handle like the pressure, then I don't think you should. And the other thing is, I think you should be like as you said, like a problem solver and basically creating your own path, because like there's no adult in the room. There's nobody telling you like this is the right choice, this is not the right choice, you should do this, you should not do this. And I think like I have talked to people, and I think at the beginning, like me and my co-founders were looking for that adult. Like we were looking for somebody to tell us like, no, like you're in the right path or not. And then we realized like, no, there's no adult in the room, and you should just do what's like logical and what feels right and what feels like the right choice. And basically like, you know, take the leap of faith, knowing that maybe it's gonna work, but maybe it's not, and you're gonna have to live with the results.
You've mentioned co-founders, and in through multiple conversations, we see that co-founders either work really well or don't work really well, and the dynamic between them is extremely important, right? So, what skill sets are complementing, what the communication and that sort of thing looks like. You have multiple.
Yeah, we're three.
Walk me through how you navigate having three co-founders and three, you know, brains in the room, and how you've been successful in doing so.
We're really lucky because we have known each other our whole lives basically. We're in the same group of friends from middle school to high school to college. And one of my co-founders went abroad. He actually went to Calgary, like to the University of Calgary. So for that time we weren't like seeing each other a lot, like in the summertime and in the winter we were. But then like when he came back, then that was when we really started the project. I think for us it's easy because we're three, so every decision we have to make, like two have to be on board. Obviously if it's like a big decision and one person is not comfortable, then we have to make sure everyone is comfortable. But like for a lot of small things, it's just, let's talk this. If two people agree, then we do it. And we also have very like different skill sets. Like for example, like me and one of my co-founders, we're both technical, like we both know how to code. So that's like a skill set that we both have, but that's like, I think the more technical people in the team, the better. So that's not a skill set that I would say there's an issue with overlapping. but then like, I think I'm more of a marketing guy, like more of a sales guy. And like I do the back end, but I wouldn't consider myself like a technical person in that sense. Like I consider more of a marketing guy. So that was, and then like Juan Diego, who's the CTO, like he's very like working, programming, like getting the code done and like that. And then Diego, who's the COO, is first he's very sociable and he has a big smile and so with like he appears in a lot of the marketing. So that was like something that we found out like in the middle of doing this that was very helpful. And he's like very good with relationships and with people, so he handles provider stuff and a lot of like the people stuff. And so yeah, I think like we are a very good mix. And like I think we check all the boxes, like we can build a product, we can sell the product, and then we can connect with people that either we have to work with them or buy from us, stuff like that. So yeah, we're very lucky to like have those skill sets mesh really well.
Yeah, complementing skill sets, and it sounds like your communication is really strong as well. Have you ever had conflict among the three of you?
No, I mean we obviously had a lot of discussions, but there hasn't been like something that was like a big point of like friction. Like honestly, everything has been really smooth. I think that also comes with like the quote "winning fixes everything." So we have been lucky that like the stuff has worked. And like maybe if one day we're having a really rough patch, then we're gonna have to figure like some things out if they happen. But right now because we have been like successful from the start, like everything has been smooth,
Mm-hmm. What's been the biggest unforeseen challenge that you've faced? Obviously, when you're planning out how to grow a business and scale, and your product in and out, your customers in and out, obviously. But there's always these things that are unforeseen. You couldn't tell that they were going to happen.
I would say probably when we started, I thought like when we started, and like we didn't call ourselves like a tech startup because we were like, no, we're just e-commerce. Yeah, we have a back end and we have like this like code, but it's gonna be easy. Like we're just gonna have to sell. And then right now it's like, no, like the biggest challenge is the tech part of it. And like we also have moved the vision and like what we're trying to do to make it more difficult, because the more difficult it is to achieve, then the better moat you have. And a lot of that has been like going really technical into the functionality and like that. So I think that has been the biggest like thing that I didn't thought was gonna be that big. And we have turned ourselves into very good programmers, very good coders because of that. And now looking back, it's like, yeah, obviously, like it was obvious that we were going to have a lot of technical like challenges.
Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you started with no funding, right? It was obviously, as you mentioned, just an idea that you were solving, and then it became a business very quickly. But what were there challenges in like low capital, next to no capital, whatever that looks like for you?
I mean, we didn't pay ourselves for a lot of time. So
yeah, that's a problem.
I would say that was a problem. Like at the beginning, it wasn't a problem, but then we got to a point where it was like, well, when are we gonna pay ourselves? I would say that like that was the only thing. Like I think most businesses, and especially like our case, like we didn't need capital. Like, yeah, like there was nothing that we couldn't do because of lack of capital at that stage. And yeah, like I don't think capital was an issue for us.
Mm. But fast forward, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have fundraised now? Yeah.
Yeah, we raised our pre-seed.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And what did that process look like? Just based on 2 conversations we've had today, we've heard that it's more complicated than it should be maybe. So walk me through what it looked like for you, and then also what you were using that money for.
Like in the past, we had talked with some funds and some accelerator, and we got, we didn't got accepted, and they didn't wanna give us money. But we weren't really like fundraising. It was just like, well, there's an opportunity, we should apply and stuff. And then there was a moment where we said like, screw it, we're gonna we're not gonna do it with an accelerator. We're gonna do it ourselves. And that was when I posted on LinkedIn like a post where it's like, oh, we started 2 years ago with no money, and now we sell this, and we're gonna try to fundraise in a couple of months. So yeah. And then we hired some lawyers to like make the LLC and everything, but we didn't exactly know like how we were gonna get it. Like I was talking to some funds and some VCs, and there was a little bit of interest. And then like before we actually, like I was planning to then like go full fundraising mode, like, you know. And before that, I went to an event by Hans, like an Emprendedor Cucaracha event. And that was when I met Jose Bielma, who is the managing partner of Semilla Ventures. And that's a Mexican fund in Guadalajara. And he actually, like he had a telecom company. And so it was it was the ideal investor for us. Like from the beginning, we wanted to have somebody in the industry, but we realized that was going to be really hard to find, like somebody that was in telco and also was an investment person that invested in like startup caliber evaluations. And we found it, and it was like we talked to him with a team at Semilla Ventures. It was like early, he told us he wanted to invest. At that time, we hadn't even formed the LLC. That was still a process. And then we closed the deal. So it was like a lot easier than we thought it was gonna be. We were really lucky that we, like I met him at that event, and then he was gonna go to travel like shortly after, and he used the product and he liked it. So it was like everything aligned really well.
I'm super happy to hear that, because that hasn't been the case with other businesses we've chatted with so far. Like
we were very lucky that like we were at the right moment at the right time. Like I think from what I understand, it's like a new fund. So I think they were looking to invest. I mean, like sometimes funds don't actually have capital and they can't invest. And because they had raised early on, like they actually had the capital, they actually were making investments. And then we met them, and it was like, yeah, it was a very good match.
What do you attribute that to? Because I found, it sounds like you've obviously invested heavily in community, right? We've talked about multiple events that you've attended and that sort of thing, which is incredible. I think a lot of people don't do that early on in their business, right? They're kind of head down, and they forget that there's a world going on around them that people want to help and can help. You've obviously, in a similar light, invested in digital marketing, which is approaching your customers. But it sounds like you have a unique approach to finding the right people around you.
I wouldn't say we have a secret sauce or anything. It's just like we try to do the right, like have an attention to detail and have a high standard for quality and the things that we put out there and we do. We have a high attention to customer like success. Well, like not success, like customer, like them being happy, like customer first approach. And then with when we were trying to raise money, I mean, it helps that we were raising pre-seed with no previous investment, and we already sold like almost $500,000. So, I mean, that helps.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, like it's just like, I think conviction, I would say, like because when, for example, we started investing in digital marketing, like it wasn't clear right away that it was going to work. We just had to like close our eyes and hope for the best. And when, for example, Juan Diego, who's the CTO, decided to like fully commit to the project, he didn't know it was going to be a like success. When Diego quit his job to fully commit, we weren't a big success in that time. So it was like a lot of conviction of trusting the project, trusting in like us. Like I remember, like there was like a big mentality that we have. It was like, it doesn't matter if the project works or not. Like we have conviction in us, and we have conviction that even if it doesn't work, like we can do something else to make a living, you know.
I think you nailed it. I think that's what VCs are looking for. You know, we've had VCs on the show before, and one of the commonalities that they look for is, you know, obviously they have to have a good product, a good track record of sales, whatever. You know, there's tangibles that need to exist for it to be successful. But ultimately, they're looking for they're investing in the people, right? So that conviction is probably what they saw.
Yeah, and I also have talked to a lot of VCs in early stage, like they don't even care like in your product. It's like the people are the main thing.
What was the intent of that capital? What did you want to do with it?
Well, first of all, have a little bit of cushion, you know, that allows us to take risks and take multiple bets. Because if we don't have like a cushion and we want to make a bet and make an investment, even if it's like good odds, you know, if it doesn't work, then we can't make no more bets. So having this capital allows us to make multiple bets, make multiple investments in things that may or may not work, and we can like I would say, if you have a 70-30 bet that is going to work and you make it and it fails, like the 30% happens, then you're done. But if you have 70% bets, then you have a lot of better odds of actually like having a good outcome because you're diversified. So I would say that obviously hiring people to our development team, we have a lot of stuff that we need to do. And Juan Diego, like we had some interns, but Juan Diego and me mainly do most of the coding. So we need more people to help us. Actually, like today was the first day of our new hire, so that was really fun.
I want to dive into that betting framework, because I agree 100%, right? 5 bets at 70%, you know, even if one fails, but the second one succeeds and it succeeds at a 2x, then you're up, right? Is there a framework that you follow for making decisions within your company or making these bets?
Do things that are low risk, high reward. Do things that are aligned with our like what we're trying to build. Like there are some opportunities that may arise that like may come our way, but if they don't align with our end goal, then we don't want to do them. Yeah, just like I would say a lot of logic, things that make sense, and intuition.
How about hiring? You mentioned, you know, today was your first or the first day of a new hire. How do you approach that?
Interviewing them, making sure that we are checking for the things that are important to us. Like, for example, we have a vibe check interview where it's as simple as, do we want to work with this person? And for example, like for the technical interviews that we have, we make sure that they actually know how to code. And we actually like have them code in front of us without AI assistance. Making sure that we are also like be very transparent in what we're doing, what we're trying to do, the sales as we are, what we expect from them. So we make sure that there's a match, both like us wanted to work with him or her, but him or her wanted to work with us.
I want to double click on, you just mentioned during your technical test or interview, you have them code without the support of AI. And that's really interesting because, you hear all these advertisements and that sort of thing these days of like how you can type an idea into something and it'll execute itself, right?
Who's advertising those?
I mean,
the people that own, like, obviously vibe coding works. Like I vibe code, I use Cursor, I use like the Anthropic models. It helps, and maybe in the future they're gonna be like a lot better. But I think right now there's a lot of noise of people claiming a lot of things, and when you actually like actually do it for yourself, you're gonna realize that the AI generating code is nowhere near production level. So yeah, like the way I view it is, it's a really strong tool. And it's definitely gonna be the future, but you have to like clear the noise and actually know, like look and see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. It's like the equivalent might be having an AI write an email for you, but maybe it doesn't carry your tone, or that is that similar?
Like like for writing an email, I think it's really like it works really well. Like there are some things that AR is really good, but some things that not yet, I would say. I mean, obviously this is my opinion. Like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe like someone's gonna say something completely different. But I'm just talking about like the experience that I have. And like for example, we're really into AI. Like we know what's going on. I have worked with a lot of these with these models to create agents and to create stuff. But right now, when our bottleneck is not having to automate AI things. Our bottleneck is sales. So when we have a bottleneck where it's like automation, we're gonna implement some AI stuff to allow us to scale in a really efficient way. So yeah, it's definitely the future. And if you're in the startup world and you're not like looking into what's happening in AI, you're missing a big opportunity. But at the same time, you can't trust anything that some altman and these other people that have a lot of skin in the game in the outcome of AI are telling you, because they're obviously going to tell you that it's perfect and it's going to solve all your problems when I don't think it's there yet.
How are you keeping your finger on the pulse with what's coming down the pipeline with AI and any real technology that you can and will start implementing?
Using it, first of all, like knowing when, like a lot of the things that happen today is new models like come out. Some are open source, some are closed, and you have to look at the benchmarks. But at the same time, the benchmarks sometimes lie. So, I would say like make yourself part of the community, and to know what the community is talking about, like the AI startup community. And as long as you're like looking at what's happening, then you can say, oh well, this new thing that just came out looks really interesting. Oh, it actually works. Oh, people are actually implementing them in their business. Oh well, maybe I should look into that. And yeah, there are a lot of opportunities. Like even right now, there are a lot of opportunities, but you have to make sure that they're the right use cases for the current state of the technology.
Right. Ensure that you know what you're dealing with and functioning or using it as a tool rather than like relying on it.
Yeah, and like to really know what's happening. Like you can't trust the AI in a lot of things. Like you have to, like they hallucinate. And sometimes, you're gonna run it 5 times and it works, but run it 100 times and you're gonna know it doesn't work. Like a lot of, like sometimes, and if you're using it in production and clients are relying on that, where there's gonna be an issue. So you have to be really on top of it.
I mean, is testing really important to you before you roll something out to your clients?
We have to obviously test it and make sure it works. But I'm writing code directly to production like, right, if something fails, we're gonna know immediately. And like, we do test, we do have a testing environment, like like if it's gonna be a big change, something that is important, something that we have to absolutely make sure that it doesn't fail, then yeah, we're gonna at least gonna test it. But right now we don't have time to test like with a lot of like tests in like internal tests and automated tests and like that.
Running a customer service focused company, obviously, it relies heavily on ensuring that you're listening to your clientele, right? You're gathering feedback. It's good feedback and deciding what to implement and where to improve. Because as we discussed earlier, like, there's people that complain and maybe it's, it's not your fault. It's not the product's fault. Do you have a process for gathering feedback and listening to your clients and determining what makes sense to act on?
Like the customer service line, like the co-founders have direct access to it. But I think like most of the stuff that we're implementing is stuff that is pretty obvious. Like I don't think we're at the stage yet where we have to like look for new functionality or new things to add. Like right now it's pretty obvious. So I would say like that's not really an issue for us. Like when something, like let's say we don't like something we do put in production is not working because something happened, then the customer service will alert us that and there's an issue and we need to fix it immediately.
What are the things that you're working on right now to improve the product? Or what can we expect in the coming years, months, etc.?
Yeah, we're working on a couple of things. First, we just launched this like a couple of weeks ago, the new affiliate program that it's better for agencies, better for influencers. We're launching our open, like our API that other businesses can use. And we're gonna soon launch like recurring plans in Mexico, like cheap ones to not just be in the travel eSIM space, but be in like the local eSIM space also.
Really interesting. Was that something that was planned, or you just came across that need?
Yeah, like from the beginning we wanted to do this, but it's harder to do. There's a lot more competition, and so yeah, like we weren't ready for that, but now we are. And yeah, like it was pretty logical. It's like if we can sell travel eSIMs and compete with the big providers, and we have a good customer acquisition cost and we have good retention and everything, then in theory we should be able to also do this in the recurring space. And then we're also gonna mix it and have some fun stuff there, but we're not ready to announce that yet.
But for the consumer, the practical usage for the consumer, what does that look like? Does that mean that they no longer have to buy lock into a contract over time, and they can like if I move to Mexico this week and I want to use your service, what does that look like for me?
No long-term contracts, no hidden fees, very transparent. The best quality apps, the best quality interfaces, the best brand, I would say, because people are not like the Mexican competition is not putting their best foot forward in the branding and community and marketing department. Like I would say, just bringing a higher quality to everything. Like right now, if you go to the biggest provider webpage, good luck, like getting the plan that you want. Good luck then talking to a customer service person if something goes wrong. Good luck if you go to Europe and you don't turn off your line because you're gonna pay like $1,000 or more. Like it's rough. Like they don't care about their customers. They're just trying to extract the most money they can. So we're gonna bring a customer first, a transparent, better quality. And the thing is, like we sell a commodity, like the internet that we're gonna sell people, the internet that we already sell people it's the same internet as the competition. So you're gonna, like, the difference is in the margins.
Yeah. I mean, you're just doing it better and better and cheaper and faster and more efficient with better customer service. You are the disruptor, right? Really cool. Is there regulation and red tape around that, like, you know, that you have to worry about?
Yeah, like we're not worried about it, but there are some things that we have to talk to lawyers and stuff.
So for a lot of our listeners who are based in Canada, we can purchase your service anywhere, doesn't matter where.
Yeah, right now, like the thing with us that it's kind of limiting us is that the name, like our name is Datos de Viaje, which translates to data for travel. And that that name was magical for us because then people actually Google our name without even knowing us. Like that's the thing that they want to buy, so we appear. But it doesn't help with English-speaking customers. So we're gonna soon do something about it. And yeah, like for the Canadian listeners, you can go to datosdeviaje.com and like you can pay in USD. It's gonna be in English, and you're gonna have a great service.
And do you feel like that name currently is limiting you from you know, other countries and that sort of thing to mass adopt your product?
I wouldn't say limiting us because we're not trying to do that right now. But now that we're gonna try to do it, then we have to do something about it, and we are.
For the entrepreneurs listening, you know, there's lots of entrepreneurs in our audience that are, you know, just starting their first business, thinking about starting. What would be your advice to somebody who's thinking about starting their business?
To start immediately. Don't think too much about it, because if you think too much about it, it's gonna look like a bad, like it's not gonna look that promising if you actually think about it, because it's hard. But the only way to do it is just like launching. What I would say is, if you're a technical person, then you have all the necessary tools to basically do whatever you want. And the best way to like learn about entrepreneurship and to learn about like selling, having your company, is to do it. And it doesn't have to be perfect at the beginning, and it doesn't have to actually work at the beginning. But then if you fail the second time, it's going to be much easier because you're going to know what's what and what's not. And for the non-technical people, I would say maybe try to learn a little bit of code. Even if you're not doing something like in the software space or in the like technology space, but if you know some technology, and if you like, you're going to have a big advantage over people that do not. And technologies are like, even in marketing, like technology and data science is like 99% of digital marketing today. And if you're gonna have a like brick and mortar business, then you also need marketing, and you need some conversions, and you're gonna have to maybe have a website, and maybe have, so like I would say like learning technology is probably the best use of your time that you can, I mean, use it, you know.
Especially at the rate that it's expanding now, right? Like you have to stay on top of things.
Yeah, and right now it's like I think right now is the easiest time to learn like how to code or technology or how things work, because you have Chat GPT on your computer that will literally teach everything. Well, I wouldn't say everything, but like can literally teach you all the fundamentals and all the stuff, you know. And it's like a teacher. Like if you wanted to learn to code 10 years ago, good luck. Like go to Stack Overflow and good luck when there's an error. And right now it's really simple and really easy.
What does success look like to you?
Personally, have like be able to work on things I like. In the future, I want to make a video game, I want to make a movie, I want to do this stuff. So for me, it's like to have the opportunity to do these projects that I want to do, that are not necessarily good business like projects. Like I wouldn't recommend anyone to do creative or an art project if what you're looking for is to make money. So yeah, in the future, I would like to have the opportunity to do that. For the company that we have, to make something that people use and are happy to use, for it to grow and have an impact on Monterrey and the country and like the people that are working for us and eventually are gonna work for us. Like for everybody to have a good time and everybody like be proud that they are part of the company. I would say that like the people. I want people that are part of the project to look back or to like if they're no longer part of the project or whatever, and to say like that was good for me, that was fun, like I grew professionally, I like was able to then have some opportunities because of this, and to make something big, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of things there. I think first of all, like your care for the people, the people within your company and the people that you're affecting with your product has been apparent through our entire conversation. So I don't think that'll be a concern for you. And also, if and when you do go and create an app or a game or whatever the case may be, I'm sure you'll find a way to monetize that as well. So don't let that limit you.
Yeah, I think like I think for those things, if you're looking to monetize, like you're having the wrong priorities. Like in those spaces, I think it's all about the product. Like obviously you have to like promote it and have visibility, but like I just wanna, like for the video game, I just wanna make like a really fun game, a really quality game, and then if I accomplish that, I don't think I'm gonna have an issue monetizing it.
Rodrigo, thanks so much for this conversation, man. I really enjoyed having you here. Thank you.
Really fun having you, and thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it. We'll do it again.